everybody. It is 5 o'clock, so I think we're going to go ahead and get some things started here. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here today during our virtual Learning Link Music of the Decades event.
Participant is now joining.
Thank you for joining, unknown participant. I just want to say thank you. Thank you again for joining us here today. I hope everyone's staying safe and staying healthy out there in these little bit of crazy times. But hopefully we can kind of take you away from that just for a little bit here. I'm Steve Adams, and we are putting this on from our senior experience class, and it's held by the 5 of us seniors. But again, I'm Steve Adams, and then I'm going to have everybody else introduce themselves.
I'm Lily Perez.
I'm Hannah Thorson.
I'm Maddie Leip.
And I'm Ashley Bittrolff.
And then I know we have a couple of things here. Now, we are having a little poll thing on the Slido, which we're going to pull up here in a second for everybody. If you go to slido.com and you put in the link here, just a second. There's a couple of poll questions. It's easy if you just want to fill that out, say hello. And then also to let everybody know, we do have the Q&A available in the chat, just right on Teams. So you can either do the barcode or you can put in the hashtag. The numbers there for the Slido there. But again, yeah, so Q&A questions, we do have people there to respond in the chat of the Microsoft Teams there area. So please, any questions, technological, anything like that. We will be doing Q&A at the end. So please, any questions you have throughout the presentation for Sonja, anybody, please let us know. Before we get going, I know that we were also supposed to have Joe join us today, who's the GM of Live Nation. Unfortunately, he was unavailable to make it here with us today, but we do have Sonja Bittrolff, who is going to be fantastic. You guys are going to love her. So without further ado, I am going to introduce the lovely Miss Sonja.
Well, I feel lovely. I actually, put makeup on to see everyone today, so.
Everyone's stiffing it up for us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Well, Sonja, thank you for joining us here today and taking time out of these crazy times to be with us. Just if you can, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Who you are, what your role is with Live Nation, and what other kind of hospitality experience you may have.
I actually used to, years and years ago, be a district manager for warehouse music and blockbuster music. So that's how I kind of started my love for actual music. Through that, I met, contacts that are still friends today. And it's through those contacts that I kind of got started in about 9 years ago with a third party, an event staffing company. And from there, went on to be the the operations manager at the Fillmore. So, I work directly with Live Nation, so no longer with a third party. And I feel very fortunate, especially in these times and everything that's going on, that I know we all need music and we all need something to do. And we may not get to do it right now, but I know that those artists are looking to tour and stuff, so I'm feeling like, we're still going to be strong after we come out of all of this. I feel really lucky to have gotten on with Live Nation. It's very hard to get your foot in the door. So when a lot of folks ask me what I can do to get there, I always say start at the bottom, because that's the best way to get your foot in the door, is learn about the business and meet people and start networking. It's never too soon to start networking. That's how I got to where I am.
Well, awesome. That sounds awesome. Thank you so much for that. We are just actually going to go back to the questions that we had on the Slido just to get through those. And then we'll come back and we'll continue on with the presentation. Thank you so much for introducing yourself. I can't wait to hear more.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back up here in just a second. So in a few words, please state what your career goal and dreams are when you graduate MSU Denver. This seems great. Government events, work, music. Events, brewery, I think, is a great one, especially here in Colorado. Plan weddings, of course. COVID-19, I hope that's not your plan afterwards. Planning in Vegas, that could be a lot of fun. Move on to the next one. Okay, looks like most everybody is in the event and meeting management. That's very interesting today. That's awesome. Oh, we got a couple food and beverage. Not a lot of hotel. Oh, here we go. Not major in hospitality. That's okay too. There's plenty of information here. Exciting. All right. Well, thank you guys, everybody, for doing this little poll, kind of a little interactive story. And we're going to head back over to our PowerPoint and our presentation and get things moving along a little bit. So again, Sonja, thank you for telling us about yourself and everything. And then we're going to kind of go a little bit into the line of like Live Nation and kind of what they, the history of the Fillmore and Live Nation itself. I know Live Nation kind of covers a few other venues and things like that too. So if you want to give us a little bit of history behind that and what kind of events happen at the Fillmore, that would be great.
As far as the Fillmore is concerned, the building opened in 1907, and it was Mammoth roller skating rink. So through 1907 to 1911, that was the hot thing to do, was roller skating. So if you've ever been to our venue, it's got a huge floor. Roller derby used to be played there. And we still have the original wood floor, though we've kind of modified it a little bit to make it better for concerts. But at that time in 1907, it was called an up-to-date restaurant serving soft drinks, and it was noted in the Denver Post at the time that roller skating is a rage all over the country, and this will be the first high-class rink to be opened in Denver. So we have a little bit of history there. After the skating rink closed, we became occupied by Fritchley Automobile and Battery Company. It manufactured electric gas cars, and they were capable of traveling 100 miles between charges. So I don't know if any of you have been to the Colorado History Museum, but there is a picture of the Fillmore kind of in, olden times, I guess, and talking about the Fritchley Automobile Company. Also, we have pictures, original pictures hanging in our building of what it looked like when there was cars in there all over the floor. So kind of a neat thing. Then going, let's see, about 1935 to 1962, it reopened as Mammoth Gardens, and it was a first-class sport house offering ice skating, hockey, ice polo, basketball, wrestling, and boxing. During its life, Mammoth Gardens was the home to Denver's first professional ice hockey and basketball teams, and James Brown performed there in 1960. So lots of history.
Absolutely, sounds like it.
Yeah, definitely. Jumping ahead, 1970, it was going to be turned into a concert venue, kind of emulating Bill Graham's Fillmore in San Francisco. So for the next 6 months, it hosted concerts like Grateful Dead, The Who, and Joe Cocker. And then in October of 1970, it got boarded up. It just wasn't doing well, and at that time, it wasn't a huge hot spot for concerts. Let's see. In 1982, it opened again as Mammoth Gardens and would host sporting events and dancing, then closed again. And then in 1999, we reopened as the Fillmore Auditorium, owned by Live Nation. So we've been in business for a while, and it was first operated by Bill Graham Presents and then sold to Live Nation. So we've had people there like Bob Dylan, David Bowie, Paul Simon, Beastie Boys, Humphreys McGee, Willie Nelson, you name it, they've played there. Couple things that we've done to improve the Fillmore since then. In 2006, we added box seats and VIP restrooms, just to kind of change the experience and give people a more VIP experience. Between 2016 and 17, we completely remodeled the backstage area. We included a catering lounge, a kitchen, and added dressing rooms, and also, as well as downstairs public restrooms. That was always kind of a sore point. We didn't have enough restrooms, so we do now. In 2018, we installed a new marquee. I don't know if any of you've seen it, but it's gorgeous. And 2019 is our 20th anniversary for that building, for our building. For that, this last year, what we did is every artist that played, we had them sign the wall in the backstage area. So it's super cool to have all those autographs that will be there forever. My personal favorite is Johnny Depp, but I mean, kind of partial to that one. As far as Live Nation is concerned, as most of you know, the company's been around for quite some time. We do actually own the Fillmore, so we don't pay rent or anything. They went ahead and just bought it outright. They are working on a couple other things here in Colorado. Live Nation now owns the Summit as well as the Marquee, and then Ophelia's Soapbox. We're partial owner in that, or the event organizer for that. We also do work at, a lot of other small venues, Pepsi Center, Red Rocks, those are big venues. But so we do a lot of work all over the city, a lot of outside things. We do street fests, and then we do the Buena Vista Seven Peaks Festival as well. So Live Nation is really making a footprint here in Colorado, which was once, mostly AEG. I think there's room for both people to succeed.
Absolutely.
As far as the events that we have, really quickly, with concerts. We have a lot of concerts, but we're not limited to concerts. We do a lot of special VIP things as far as rentals for private parties, for large parties. We actually even hosted a funeral. So sad to say, but music was a big part of this gentleman's life. So we've kind of run the gamut of things that we've done. Never thought we would do, but it turned out really cool, and proud to say that whatever is thrown at us, we can make it work.
I think that's great. Events in itself is kind of a broad spectrum other than just music. You need to do a disco night and bring back the roller rink, shoot the duck. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but I remember that back in my day, when rollerblades came out and everything. It was a little bit harder, but pretty awesome.
I don't know. I know it was talked about for a while before we did the remodel of hosting skating nights, and we did a couple. But it's the whole different ball game for insurance.
Oh, I can only imagine. Well, thank you. It's a great history of it. Like, who knew a lot of those things? It's awesome. I've also heard that it's a little bit haunted.
It actually, no, it's true. I was working late one night. There was construction when we were doing our remodel, and we kept a lot of the original things in the building. There was plaster flowers on the posts. We kept those, so I painted them, to look like flowers. So we kept a lot of the original things that we uncovered. And I was painting one night, and the workers had to leave early because their equipment broke. And I'm in the catering room, and I fully see someone walk past the door. And it was a tall gentleman, dark-haired gentleman in a tan suit. And I jumped out because I was ready, because I knew I was the only person in there, and there was nobody there. And you've never seen anybody pack their stuff up so fast and get the heck out of there. Just the other day, we've got a couple maintenance people, and one of the guys was using the Zamboni to buff the floor, and all of a sudden it got really cold, and someone tapped him on his shoulder, and he turned and looked, and nobody was there, and the two other guys were there, also got this weird kind of calm, and but that's just a couple instances. They happen all the time.
Yeah, no thanks. Not that I'm a scaredy cat or anything like that, but I don't know. I don't know how to deal with that,
Yeah.
But it's awesome. Now, other than the Fillmore, I know you mentioned Ophelia's. Now, would Ophelia's would you say kind of be more for like kind of more your smaller venues, a little more of an intimate setting, I love how you guys have so many different venues to kind of grasp every aspect of those music events that you can do.
Yeah, Ophelia's is definitely smaller. It's more of a dinner club, but it is a super cool place to see a show. My boyfriend and I went and saw Brothers of a Feather, the Chris Robinson brothers, there at the beginning of March, and it was about the most intimate setting that you could see somebody at. It was phenomenal. So that we're a part of that now, I think, is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you again for the history. I mean, who knew? I love it. So we're going to move on a little bit. How does working at the Fillmore, you think, relate to the hospitality industry? Maybe not just events, but anything in the hospitality industry.
Well, last July, we actually hired a person to really go out and really help us expand in the private party business. So, I mean, concerts are a big thing, but we have, maybe 10 to 17 concerts a month. So there's the whole rest of the month, the building's sitting empty and where we could actually sell some space. So we hired a special event coordinator, and that's what he does. He talks to people and tries to, get them to rent our building for special parties, whether they're large or small. And, sometimes they have talent. We had one last summer that was a huge party. It was a conference that they were having, and they decided to have their party, and their talent was Keith Urban. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. So, as far as the hospitality industry, it's just not about working in concerts. The guy that's doing the special events he is booking these events. He's working with the caterers. He's working with the decorators. He is doing all of this stuff to make sure that, their event goes off as planned. It's pretty much the same as any other venue. It's just a different layout. So, I think that relates to hospitality as far as that side quite a bit. As far as concerts go, I mean, it depends on what side of hospitality you're looking for. I have a gal who's basically the backstage manager, and what she does is make sure all the dressing rooms are cleaned and stocked and ready for the artists. Anything the artist needs, she takes care of. That's hospitality as well. On the front lines, if you're interested in ticketing, we have Ticketmaster in our building. So we have that. We've got folks who, maybe you're more, into the VIP end of the hospitality. So you could be upgrading people to the box seats, or, helping a guest, if we do have seated shows sometimes, helping guests find a seated show. Or their seat at a seated show. So it's not just about working in a concert or taking tickets. There's quite a few other pieces to the puzzle that help us, run an event.
And that's great. And I can't thank you enough for mentioning that. Part of what we need to do to be able to get our degree is a lot of people have to have 600 hours of work hours in the industry, So I don't want people to think, I don't do concerts, I can't work there. It's great to hear that there's plenty of other aspects for people to go in there. And on that note, I know it's kind of a crazy time and nothing might be immediate, but what openings and things like that would you have for students or, graduates or anything like that coming out of the college and things like that might be Live Nation could provide for them?
The interesting thing right now is for everyone, I have no idea how this is going to shake out. It could happen that once we're starting to have concerts again, I am overstaffed because everyone I have on staff already wants to work everything because they haven't worked so long. Or it could be that, maybe people have found other jobs and things like that because they needed money sooner than later, and I'm really looking to hire. I find that in this industry, I'm hiring all the time because it's very fluid. So I get a lot of graduates, and they come and they get their foot in the door there, and then they move on to the next spot. And I think that's awesome. I think people come and go, and it's the nature of the business too. You have to want to work late nights, you have different people for every show. So, as far as the hiring and the getting people in, I usually never say no. If someone approaches me for a job, I take them because I can find a home for them. Maybe they are not going to be a ticket taker. Maybe somebody has more talent and they want to be a runner, which, involves taking the artist, picking them up at the airport, things like that. I mean, it's not just at the Fillmore. I mean, we do this for Red Rocks and Pepsi Center. So I'm looking to hire people that can fill multiple roles.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, like I said, I never say no. I love to get people in the door because you never know who's going to be that A plus, person who's just killing it. And then hopefully they'll be able to move up within the company like a lot of other people have.
That's right. I mean, and that I think that's great. But you said you never say no, so be prepared. You
Yeah.
might be getting some information
I'm
from
okay
some
with that.
people, right?
Yeah.
That's great. So I guess kind of moving on about a couple other things. Of course, we're going to talk about the big thing that's in the air and that's everywhere, which of course is the COVID-19, the coronavirus.
Mhm.
We are going to talk a little bit about. I would love how it's kind of affected Live Nation financially. I mean, I know it's a business and things got to be a little bit private, but just kind of how this has affected your business a little bit, and then how it's affected the staff, your employees as well.
How it's affected us financially, I feel really fortunate to be working for a company who has been so forward thinking through all of this. I personally am still collecting my normal salary, and I have to tell you, I'm not working 40 hours a week, not even close. But they still continue to pay us our normal pay. As far as the part-time employees, we have paid everybody all of March. So every show we had booked in March, we have paid everybody out who would have worked any of those shows. And that's going to happen for April as well. By the end of the month, everyone will get paid for April. So, I mean, they don't have to do that. And I think that's really cool. There's 6,000 part-time employees in Live Nation, and they're all getting checks. So I believe in that. I think that's an awesome thing to do. As far as higher than me financially, I know that from the top down, including Michael Rapino has, and I don't know what he makes. I'm sure someone could Google it really quick and know, but he has stopped collecting a salary and putting all of that money back into the business. And then as far as like the VPs and the regional managers and stuff, they have all willingly taken a 25% pay cut in order for that money to go back into the business. So my bosses have taken a pay cut so that I could still get a check. And I think that's pretty amazing. So the other the really cool thing is that Live Nation has created what's called Crew Nation. And through Crew Nation, you can go in and donate to all of the touring people who have no tours, who have absolutely no income. And, those people are still getting money out of this. I can't give you specific numbers, but on our conference call last week with Michael Rapino, he had listed a slew of artists who have directly donated to that cause to make sure people who are touring on, and not able to work are getting money. Another cool thing is on our conference call last week, Garth Brooks was on our call and talking about, how he appreciated all the things that we've done and talking about the money that he has donated to Crew Nation to make sure everyone is, being able to live. So financially, Michael Rapino keeps saying, that our pockets are deep because of how he invests things and things like that. And I have to say at this point, as an employee who is getting paid her normal salary for not really doing a lot of work, I believe him, So how's it affected the staff at the Fillmore? I mean, it hurts because we're not able to work. I am very big and passionate about calling it the Fillmore family. So I do send emails and I miss my family. And a lot of people feel the same, but are thankful that there's still, there's still money coming in. It's not a part-time job. You're my family, and if you can't get taken care of, let me know, because we have a program called Take Care of Our Own, and we can get you help.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel like this is going to, do you think the virus and things of that, is your policies and procedures going to change up, and will this kind of affect the way that you go about hiring new staff?
I don't know yet. That's kind of unknown. I was talking with Joe, who was unable to be here today, on a conference call this morning, and we don't know how this is going to look when we're able to come all out of it. Right now, still no gatherings more than 10 people. Well, if they're going to allow a gathering of 500 people, does everyone have to wear a mask? I mean, we have no idea how it's going to look. It's completely unknown for us. As far as hiring and things, I don't know that it should affect hiring that much, because once the shows happen again, I still need to run them. I still need people to run them. So I don't personally think the hiring process is going to change that much.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for that information. And okay, enough about the coronavirus. I have a question. How do you deal with Garth Brooks being on your call? Do you just get all giddy, or do you kind of play it cool? Like, you feel like you've seen some big celebrities. I don't know how well. I think I would just be all like, "Hello, nice to meet you."
He's just a person. So I've been fortunate enough to meet him a few times and actually play basketball with him. But he's a person. And the week before, we had Pharrell on our call, and he's just a person. And these are just people who want to help. And their pockets are a little deeper than my pockets. And I think it's super cool that they really see the value in what's going on and trying to make sure that everyone has what they need. So Garth Brooks is probably one of the most down-to-earth people you'd ever meet.
Who knew? That's awesome. I just think I would kind of be a little bit too crazy and giddy. Be like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
You think more so than Steven Tyler? Because I know you've hung out with him a lot.
That, I would just be like, hey, Steven, it's Sonja. But that's different. That's, he's my main squeeze.
Hey. Let's kind of talk about the future. What do you think the future of Live Nation and the Fillmore Auditorium looks like? Do you have, as soon as you can open up, are people lining up to come and play? What does the future look like? You feel like?
I think that's really hard to say right now. I don't have any shows through June at this point. If they do start booking some shows in July or August, and they put those shows for sale in March, how many people are going to rush out and buy tickets? Because nobody's got anything coming in right now,
Right.
I mean, I love live music, but I can't tell you I'm going to rush right out and use my stimulus check to buy a ticket to something, So that is unknown for us. And when will they let us start having shows again? So the future for us right now is just, it's so gray, because there's so many things that are working above us that we have no idea about. I would like to say that, as soon as we have shows, we're going to be sold out again every night. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not sure how people's finances and things are going to dictate what shows they go to. So we used to see a lot of people at the same shows, and I wonder.
Right.
The thing I know is that the artists want to tour. They most of our shows that have been canceled due to this have been already rescheduled for next year. So the artists want to get out there. I see us having an extremely busy fall, winter season. But the artists want to work. and that's how they make their money. So that helps us, that means we're going to make money. But when it gets start back up, I have no idea.
Right. Time will tell. It's a different thing, and I think we're gonna have to worry about, like our government and our officials being like, okay, this is what you can do. You can only have so many people in. They all need to be 6 feet apart. I don't know how it'll work for concerts, but
Yeah.
I think the new normal is gonna be a little different. So
Exactly.
that's awesome. Well, we are gonna open it up for a little bit of Q&A here. We do have a couple of questions that have been posted on the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and read the first one to you. Is Live Nation putting on any virtual concerts?
We have tons of virtual concerts.
Okay.
I don't have any of that information in front of me, but most of the Live Nation artists have done things from their backyard or their their home or whatever. Dierks Bentley, who's a big Live Nation artist, Luke Bryan, they've all done things from home. So I know that they're doing concerts and things. I'm sorry I'm not prepared here because I could have given you like a link where all of that stuff is. If I can find it, I'll shoot it off to the group and so they can pass it along.
That's awesome. Thank you. And like what platforms, do you do for those virtual concerts? Is it like Microsoft Teams or Zoom or anything like that? Do you have different places, or is it just kind of one that Live Nation likes to use?
I know that they've done a bunch just on social media through Live Nation, and then there's been, I know that there's been some on the Live Nation website. So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Got a couple more here popping up here, which is great. Please ask. How much time will you need to put on a concert in place once you have the go-ahead to allow people back in?
It really comes down to the bookers. So once we have the go-ahead, as soon as the bookers can get somebody booked to come to the Fillmore, we can put on a show pretty quickly. I have done a pop-up show in 2 days. So as far as staff, make sure we have union employees there for stagehands and things like that. I've done it in 2 days. So I don't think that all of the shows will be like that because they're going to want to sell tickets and they're going to want to make sure that, enough people are going to come. But we can do it in a very quick turnaround.
Awesome. So we got another one here. Is Seven Peaks tentative with everything that is going on?
Right now, I run Seven Peaks. I run all the staffing for Seven Peaks. So right now, Seven Peaks is still a go. I haven't heard anything different, and I am on those conference calls, so I know what's going on. So right now, they're still talking about that it should be good by the end of Labor Day weekend.
Awesome. Are artists strictly Live Nation artists, or are they allowed to work with other companies, like they signed to a concert or anything, if that makes sense?
No, that makes sense. So we do have artists that, they're Live Nation artists, but they can play in a different venue. Say a Live Nation artist wants to play at the Ogden, and that's fine. So then the Ogden pays Live Nation, for rental basically of their artist. We do have co-promotes, so where it's like the 1975, for example, it's part Live Nation and part AEG. So whenever they play here in Colorado, it's always a co-promoted show. So we work with AEG, and that artist works with both promoters.
Okay.
So are you hiring for the festival they were just talking about?
For Seven Peaks?
Yeah.
I should be. I will know a little more. Usually I start planning and working on that in June.
Is there a link that students can sign up for?
They can go to Live Nation Careers and then go down to Fillmore, find the Fillmore, and then that's how they would sign up. And that's where I look to, call people and start whittling people down who are interested in working.
Very cool. And then What are like the internships looking like for the summer? Do you have a lot of internships?
This summer, I know right now all the internships are placed on hold for all of Live Nation. So there won't be any for me right now.
Okay. And then how is it planning like a virtual event, a virtual concert? Are you involved a lot in the process of doing that, or?
I am not at all.
Okay.
That is all probably with the actual promoters and tour reps. Since it's not in a venue, it's all through them directly. I don't have anything, unfortunately, to do with that.
Okay, fair enough. Like, so, you know, if when you buy a concert ticket, where does the fee go to? Is it the venue, the artist, is a little bit of both? How does that kind of contribute?
It's a little bit of everything. So a portion of it goes to the artist, a portion of it goes to the venue. You know, you've got to have the handling fees. So it's paying the people that are printing the tickets or emailing the tickets. So the fees could include, you know, maintenance for the building, all the things that you need. The cool thing that Live Nation does is every year, or every single ticket that's sold through Ticketmaster through the year, 50 cents on every ticket is donated to charity. So at the end of the year, we split it between, I believe there was, I don't recall how many of us there was, but they split that money between each of us, and I was able to donate under my name with Live Nation $2,000 to a charity of my choice for Christmas. And each salaried employee in Colorado got to do that. So 50 cents of that goes to donation to a charity.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Well, as many people as you guys got buying tickets, that can add up.
Yeah, it does. Yep.
Silly. Well, you know, I'd love to open up the mics now. You know, if anybody has a question that you weren't able to put in the chat or you want to speak up, please feel free. We'll give everybody a little minute if you want to, and we'll see if we can come up with a couple more.
Sonja, I do have a question, actually. Do you think people are going to be kind of even hesitant to go back to concerts once all this stuff dies down? Because I'm sure there might be some people concerned about being in spaces with a lot of people there, or any regulations like that. Do you think that's going to have an effect on ticket sales?
I definitely think so. We were kind of talking if they did open it up to just 500 people, like putting out 500 chairs, all spaced, you know, to keep people away from each other and have it a seated event. But again, that's all speculation on our part, just trying to come up with some ideas on, you know, how we could make it work. So I definitely think there'll be some hesitation. But on the flip side of that, I think there's going to be people that are going to be ready to get out and be like, I've been in quarantine for however long and I want to see my favorite band play. So again, you know, it's kind of a non-answer because it's such a gray area that we have no idea what to expect.
For sure. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we had a question here from Sarah that looks like a little bit of backstory. She said they had a colleague joke that we may never be able to shake hands moving forward in the future for business customs. That being said, what is the major aspect that you think concerts will forever be changed moving forward prior to COVID-19?
I'm not sure. I don't know, possibly if on the floor, because people, when they come to an event, especially at the Fillmore, everybody likes to crush down in front. So there's no space whatsoever. I don't know if we have to put in, you know, barricade limiting the number of people down in front. I can't even speculate because I have no idea how it's going to look after this. You know, how do we separate people? I mean, everybody wants to be in front of the stage. I get that. You know, the person you love is up there singing and you want to be right there because maybe they're going to look at you or you're going to get a guitar pick or a drumstick or something. But I have no idea where to even begin to think about how this is going to change everything.
part of me feels like places like Ophelia's and those smaller venues for a little more intimate setting might be where people go to first
Mm-hmm.
to kind of get back into it, just because they feel that, even though there can be a lot of people there, it's a smaller space, less people being around, that might be their go-to, possibly.
And even to add on to that, Steve, in the Global Meetings event that we attended last week, they said that younger people are more likely to attend meetings, events, social gatherings, things like that. So if it's a smaller venue and like smaller gatherings, then, people like us are more likely to be there.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of positions will Seven Peak offer, do you think?
Seven Peaks typically will just be event staff. So it's really just folks who are willing to go down there and camp for a week and, be placed in a position that you maybe have to only let people with certain tickets through. You may be watching a gate, things like that. So really, Seven Peaks will only be event staffing.
Event staffing.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Got another question here. How many concerts/events have you planned or been a part of with Live Nation?
I have been at the Fillmore for 8 years. 4 of them the last 4 a Live Nation employee. So I know on an average we do 90 shows a year. So times that times 4.
Okay.
And that's
so
not
quite a
even
few.
Yeah, that's not even counting. I've done Coachella. I've done a whole bunch. I've done South by Southwest. So I've done all kinds of other festivals and big type events like that. So I would have no idea.
Lida.
Oh, yep. Salida, Gentlemen of the Road.
That one was fun.
That was fun. We have done a lot. So
yeah.
I couldn't even tell you.
She is a great person to work with. If you guys are interested in festivals and traveling, she is amazing to travel and work with. Just saying.
I'm sorry, can you say that name again?
My name's Sonja.
Oh, sorry. It kind of checked out a little bit, so I didn't hear it. Were you saying Sonja was the person that was great to get in connections with? I mean, obviously, we know that because she's been here. I just wasn't sure if you guys brought up another person's name or not. If Ashley, if you were just saying somebody else as well on top of Sonja. So.
No, I do a lot of festivals and I do a lot of things outside, because I love live music. So anything I can do, I do. And then I'm always looking for a great team to take with me. Just because we're only as good as our team. So if we have an awesome team, it makes the event that much more fun.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We got a few more coming in here. For Live Nation jobs and venues, do you know any that might be in the Southern California area, or if you don't, where people might be able to go and look?
I don't. I know we just opened a couple new venues in Southern California, in the LA area. You can go to livenation.com /careers, I believe, and it's all on there.
Awesome. Okay, we got another one. We got Sarah here thinking, think it'll be hard for new grads to get jobs for the next year. What advice would you give to the new hospitality grads to get into this field, knowing no one's really hiring at the moment?
This may sound stupid, but humility. You're gonna have to start at the bottom because most folks that are here right now are established. So what's gonna make you better than the next guy? Not saying it's dog eat dog, but it's who you know. So if you come in and work your butt off, those are the people that can move further. I like to tell people to learn everything you can about every position. Sure, maybe it's cold out and it's winter and you're taking tickets, but the next day you might be doing something else. You really just need to work hard and just start, just start someplace. If you don't start someplace, you're always going to be trying to get your foot in the door. And I think with like Live Nation and AEG, that's the hardest thing, is to get your foot in the door. So if you got to come in and be humble and take tickets for a few months before you move on to the next position, I think that's sometimes those are the people who are moving up, the people who are just go-getters.
Sure, absolutely. For the event staffing for Seven Peaks, we got somebody asking, will you be taking students or only graduation? They're going to be a senior starting in the summer. So.
Oh, I'll take anyone. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have to be a senior or anything like that. I'm happy to help with the program and seniors and things like that. But quite honestly, I'm hiring for a job and a position. So if you fit, and you seem like an awesome employee, I'm going to hire you.
That's great. We have a question from Keisha Lewis here. Do you think concerts may go to a hybrid style? Some people in the venue, or a hybrid style, yeah, some people in the venue while it streams to others? Like a little bit of both?
It could. Again, I mean, I hate not giving you a solid answer, but I have no idea. Myself, as well as above me, has no idea. On our conference call with Micah Rapino last week, he couldn't even speculate how things were going to look. And that guy has on calls with the president, because he's a big industry person. And if he can't speculate, I'm just a little guy. And if I have a great idea, I'm certainly going to share it with my company. But I have no idea how any of that's going to look yet.
That's fair. Does Live Nation, or do you guys team up with other vendors regularly, such as like food trucks, production needs, or other hospitality organizations?
So the only time we've teamed up with food trucks is when we've done some street block parties, and then we'll team up with food trucks and things like that. We have had a couple food trucks approach us for certain concerts to park out front, which we have allowed. I think that's cool. So as far as vendors, food trucks specifically, yes, we've done that. We participate with, for example, across the street from the Fillmore Charlie's. We participate with them in doing events that are, a good draw for their crowd, and they come to a show and then they head over to Charlie's, so some cross promotion. As far as production companies, we have a couple that we work with, and we pretty much stick with the same production companies. We have our union and Local 7, and that's the union that we work with. So, those kind of things are pretty tightly knit. Not a lot of, there's opportunity to get in, as a stagehand or with a production company, but that's more outside my wheelhouse, because you would have to go straight through the union or straight through Brown Note, who the production company is.
Okay, great. Got a couple more questions coming in here. This one is from Jeremy. Are there any obvious systematic flaws or opportunities that the response to the pandemic has revealed for Live Nation or the Fillmore that you can kind of share?
To my knowledge, no, but I know it has made us look at some of our operational things a little differently. Cleaning, like before all of this started, we, officially started, we were having shows, and it was one of those things where, okay, we need everybody to walk around and be wiping off stair railings and door handles and cleaning more. Like, I feel that we're clean, and I feel like our restrooms are clean, and you're always going to find someone who didn't have a perfect experience, and that happens. But it kind of made us open our eyes a little bit more as far as okay, what can we do differently to remain successful, to remain open and not get people sick? So, Jeremy, I'm not sure if that really answered your question, but it's just such a big picture right now that's kind of crazy that I think we're still trying to wrap our heads around.
Honestly, like working with you at the Fillmore, being puked on and peed on and all the stuff we've seen, yeah, it definitely is a change.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would definitely think that things are going to change and yeah, just definitely be more clean.
I'm not a gloves person. I mean, Ashley knows this. I'll go in and grab people and do whatever I have to do, and I'm maybe I'm stupid or whatever, but I'm not a gloves person. And when all this started happening at the Fillmore, because we were having shows where we had to be in contact with people, I was like, oh, I should put gloves on, So that's another thing too. It's kind of like, oh, an eye opener.
Absolutely. We got a question here from Katie. What are some things that you love and some things that you don't necessarily love or like about working with Live Nation on the Fillmore?
As far as working with Live Nation, I love it all. They take wonderful care of me. I think we take good care of our people. We've got great benefits. So working with Live Nation, I don't have a complaint. Working certain shows, now that's a different story. I actually pretty much like all kinds of music. Some crowds are a little rougher than other crowds, and some nights you're going to be able to relax and not have to run around, and some nights you're going to be chasing down folks and things like that. I don't love people who come to the venue who are entitled, because I don't care who you know or who you think you know, the rules still apply. You can't bring alcohol in, you can't do this, you can't do that. So sometimes I don't like having to be the bad guy, but it's absolutely necessary to follow the rules to a T, because those rules are there to protect us.
Awesome.
I have a question. This is Lily. Hey, Sonja. So since you mentioned that, what happens to the artists that do be like rebellious and like, well, I am so and so. Who are you to tell me? Like, do you ever work with those artists again?
Yes, because they're probably most likely Live Nation employees. There are some who are just not nice people, and we know who those are, and we know that if they come in, that we're going to take all the TVs out of the dressing room, or not provide certain things because it's going to get trashed or whatever. But yes, we still have to work with them. So we have to still be professional, and we still have to be nice, and you can still call me names and I'm still going to smile, because inside it just makes me feel like a better person knowing that I'm pissing you off because I'm smiling and you're not making me mad, So it's, I don't have a choice. They come.
Kill them with kindness, Sonja. Kill them with kindness.
Oh, I do. I tell everybody, if someone's yelling at you and this and that, you just make yourself a small little pebble and let the crap roll right off your back, and you raise your head back up and you smile and tell them what they want to hear.
Wow. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look here to see if we have any last questions here. And if anybody wants to speak up and ask a question, now is the time to do so. And if not, I just want to say thank you, Sonja, for taking the time out of your day and being with us and giving us all this great information about concerts in Denver and Live Nation and the Fillmore specifically. I don't know if I'm going to go. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of ghosts. So don't want anybody touching me where it's kind of crazy.
Just come. You'll have a good time.
Absolutely. I'm an Uber driver on the part-time, so it's like I pick up quite a few there. So it's definitely something I have to check out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I just want to thank anybody. We are going to be posting Sonja's information, which will be in the chat here, but we also will post a link for her LinkedIn so you can get in touch with her and everything else. We also are going to have an evaluation form that is going to be coming. We're going to send out two for everybody to mention there. I want to say thank you to MSU for helping us put this on, and also Dr. King who is our professor, kind of help keep us all corralled in during this crazy time and switching from a live event to this virtual kind of event. So I just can't say thank you for everybody for joining and asking questions and being involved.